Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to Tom's Corner, where you can hear the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So help me God. Topic today might find very interesting. Hope it does for you. Maybe I can bring some things up. You don't know. What country will the Antichrist come from? Stop and think about that for a while I sort through my papers. According to Christian tradition, the Antichrist will come from Babylon, a city that was once the capital of the Persian Empire. Now, I'm going to give you a lot of variety of opinions, okay? And I think it's important that we do that. And maybe I'll give you little hints what's really going on. Explanation: the Antichrist is a figure in the Christian tradition who will appear before the end of the world. That's correct. The New Testament mentions the Antichrist in 1 John 2:18 through 27. 1 John 4 and 1 through 6 and 2 John 7. Now, the Antichrist is also described in other biblical characters, such as the abomination of desolation in Daniel and Matthew. Okay, and if you've read Daniel, you have read that. The Antichrist is said to be a Jew from the tribe of Dan, but born in Babylon. Okay, these are different people's interpretation or theory. The Antichrist is said to be a Gentile ruler who will lead the remnants of the Roman Empire. All right, the Antichrist is said to be Satan's chief agent on earth who will forge a one world government through promises of peace. And that's correct. I believe that definitely correct. The Antichrist is said to come from Turkey. Now, certain denominations believe certain things, and here's what I'm saying is, each denomination, this is where separation really ruins the churches. When the Baptist doesn't talk to the Methodist, doesn't talk to the Pentecostal, the Presbyterian doesn't talk to the Lutheran, they all make up ideas in their own minds. And this is what went on when I read all these things coming. And I'm sure there's at least 100 more different interpretations that are there trying to tell you who the Antichrist is, where he is definitely so-called coming from. And since I was a young man in a certain denomination, the people would cry, the churches would say the Antichrist, he's coming from Turkey. And we're going to get into this just a little bit right now. I want you to think about something, to you that believe that. How shall I say it? Hogwash? Okay, why you believe hogwash? I'm going to dispute it. I'm going to tell you why I'm going to dispute it. Don't look at the countries that America has propped up and they get money from America to stay a country. Okay? Don't look in those directions. Don't look in those directions where these countries that are what we call so rich, like the Saudi Arabia, they can build all the giant edifices, change this, change that. They sell oil, don't they? Who do they sell oil to? They make their money from certain countries, not themselves. So in other words, they have to sell their product in order to gain their wealth, okay? Look for a place where the wealth's already there. That's all I'm going to say on that. Now, let's go on here. See what else we got here for you. Ancient city. Babylon was a city in ancient Mesopotamia, located on the Euphrates River in southern Mesopotamia. Now, the ruins of Babylon are located where? Do you know? It's in present-day Iraq. So I thought I'd clear that up. Some of you may know it. And was a city of sin and rebellion. Revelation 18:2. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen. Now first, you got to understand, this is an angel flowing through. And this is what he cried. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. Okay. What they're saying there that I just read to you. They're so full of demonic spirits. There's no way they can come back. They're so absorbed in with demonic spirits, because it tells you here the devils, foul spirits, these are spirits that dwell into you, that have gotten the hearts and lives of people. This is why people get killed. And who are the people that prescribe their killings? They kill and prescribe killings, and they don't care. They have what we call no conscience anymore. This is what it's referring to these people here. Now, number 3, it says this, for all nations, get this, all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. And the kings of the earth have committed what? Fornication. They're right in with them. Because that Babylon that's here today has literally tricked and duped the world. Okay? Yeah, there is a Babylon today. The Bible says so. We're talking about it now. All right, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth, and waxed rich to the abundance of her delicacies. In other words, these other countries in the world are prospering off of this one city. Now, number 8, therefore shall her plagues come in one day. Very important you remember this. Her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is the Lord God who judgeth her. God's going to judge Babylon today. Now, later on down in here, I'm going to tell you what I surmise Babylon is. Now, here's what's happened. And this is what it repeated in Revelation. Plagues, one day. Death, one day. Mourning and famine, one day. And utterly be totally burnt. Gone. This is a judgment from God. Now, a lot of times we say, does God do that? Sometimes he does, but I think in the circumstances right here, it's going to be an outside influence that's going to cause things to happen to this city and have it destroyed. Number 9. But see, sometimes God backs off. When you don't worship God in spirit and truth, God will back from you, because he don't want any part of that. So when he backs from you, he doesn't leave or forsake you. You're the one who leaves him. And when you get that far, he can't help you. Okay? You ever read in the Bible where it said that he would turn what they believe a lie and be damned? They would turn their hearts and minds and be a reprobate. You know what a reprobate is? One that can't really come back. They believe it's so strong with their minds. Certain people today in certain parties are reprobates, whether they know it or not. The rest of them are duped. They just party in their what they call their party, Republican or Democrat, because dad and mom were down through the hundreds of years, so they stay with it. Just stay with my party. But yet the people that don't understand, they're being duped. Now, some of these that are 100% in this, and I'm talking about Republicans and Democrats, are reprobates. They're total reprobates. Both parties. We're not singling one party out on this. And the ones that are believing on the other party are just duped. And there's things going on in both parties I do not approve of. And neither does God. And God will judge them for that in their time. All right? Now, and the kings of the earth who have committed fornication, that's in 9, and lived delicately with her, deliciously with her, I should say. In other words, one and the same, shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning. Now you stop and think about this. That whole Babylon city that I refer to later, I'll give you my opinion. One day, gone. Going down, it's even going to say 1 hour. And from afar off, they will see the plumage. Look at this. The plumage of her smoke. Okay, let's go on. 10. Standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, the great city, Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is the judgment come. Okay? 17. For in 1 hour so great riches has come to naught, and to every shipmaster, and all the company in ships and sailors, and as many as trade by sea, stood afar off, and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, What city is like unto this great city? Now remember, we're talking about our time, now. And I want your brain to click in. Click it in. What city can we attribute to a city that is so great that all the world trades with her? What city is so great that all the kings flock to her? And what city is there on earth that they want to be like that city? All right. 19. And they cast dust on their heads and cried, weeping, wailing, saying, Alas, alas, that great city wherein were made rich all that had ships in the sea by reason of her costliness, by her greatness. For in 1 hour is she made desolate. Whole city gone. Now, here we come. We're coming down to the finale of it. Okay. Who is the female allegory of the United States? Listen very carefully. Look up allegory. I didn't have a chance. Although she was later replaced by Lady Liberty, Uncle Sam, as the most common representations of the United States, a female figure known as Columbia was the nation's first symbolic figure. Did you know that? Now, is not the American Silver Eagle dated 2023 embossed with a woman's figure on it, and above has the word liberty? Yes. And a 1922 peace dollar has a woman's face with the words liberty on it also. Now, do we not have the Statue of Liberty in New York's harbor? Sure we do. Is that not referring to she? Although people say the correct speaking about our country does not refer to our country as a woman, but all these symbols do refer to as a she. Think on that. Because why? If you go back to what I just read to you, Babylon was referred to as she. And it told how that she was a great whore and deceived the world. Okay? Now, let's go on. Now, I will give you my viewpoint on all of this. This is me speaking. Let me read my lips. This is me giving my interpretation. So you don't say, well, I can't find that in the Bible. Well, everybody else has given their interpretation. You done sucked for that and kissed for it. So I decided to give my point of view. And this is my point of view. Now here's the thing. Could be wrong. Don't know. Could be wrong. Maybe I don't think so. But let's go into it. Ready for it? Now I will give you my interpretation point of view. Here it goes. New York City could easily be described as Babylon. All the wealth of the world is found there. Also, all the trade in business is there. Let me stop here about the trade factor, okay? Well, wait a minute. What are you talking about, trade in New York City? They have the Dow Jones Stock Exchange, don't they? That's trading, isn't it? They own conglomerates. When they do that, they buy stock and they sell stock in a giant businesses. So they are the number one world trade people. If the stock exchange goes down, the country goes down. Think on that. That's business. Dealing business in business. That's the number. They don't do that. San Francisco, do they? No. Other places, parts of the world, not like here. They do have a stock exchange that they do trading in London and in an area of 1 square miles. This is where the elite are. This is where they deal every day, and this is how they make their money, by dealing in stock. Did you know that? England has basically no production. No big giant this, no big giant that. It's country, people. But the 1 mile area, one by one, the stock exchange that they have, they own a big chunk in the world because they're always dealing in selling the stock and holding this and holding that. Okay, let's go on and find out what else I can give to you. New York City could be easily described as Babylon. All the wealth of the world is found there, and also all the trade and business is there. Remember the stock exchange, which I just told you. Also, below the Twin Towers, which a lot of people don't know, was the gold of the world, the wealth of the world. When the towers went down, the first thing they did was clear that trash out as much best they could to get to the basement. And when they got to the basement, that was where the gold was stored. Gold stored from France, England, all these was stored there. Safe keeping. They got that out. Okay. Now, also, this city will be destroyed in 1 hour. It talks about 1 hour. Something else I want to bring to your attention. Why, and this is my assumption, which I've probably got it written here, I look at, they would send probably a missile. One of these low-life countries would slip in somehow, some way, offshore, push one missile with a nuclear warhead on it, wipe out New York City, 1 hour, gone. The plumage will be seen out in the ocean, far, far away. They'll weep and howl because they're watching all their wealth go down the tube. Now, I'm going to tell you something else, too. Why didn't they? You asked a question. I know you're thinking. I believe the people that watch me do think. Think on this. Why didn't they just shoot it over to Washington, D.C.? Huh? Why? They didn't. They shot it to New York City. Why? New York City, people, is where the major decisions are made. Did you know that? Well, how can you say that? We have a representative. Don't be looking at that. These are front people for the ones that's really ruling the world, okay? The ones that really rule the world are right there in New York City, and they make the decisions of what goes down. Well, who are they? It's easy. Don't you have big gas companies? Don't you have big oil companies? Do they not persuade these representatives for pennies on a dollar? Well, I'll take you on trips and I'll give you a little money if you get them to vote my way. Are you thinking now? Yeah, lobbyists. That should be outlawed. They should put them in prison for life for what they do. But the lobbyists are influencing our governors, our senators, House of Representatives, all of it, everything is coming from New York City and those giant high-rise places that are making the decisions to prosper there. How about these wars that go on? How come they do that over there? Why? It's oil. It's oil. Oil is money. they'll protect that. No matter where it's at, they will protect that. Even America, they will protect that. Got it? All right, let's go on. Now, also number two on that little sidebar I gave you, they know when the missile's getting ready to come. But if they get close enough, to get this, if they get close enough in a type of a submarine, they can launch that baby, and no one can do anything about it. No one knows it comes, and it comes. But see, normally the capital have ways through the military to, if they're off far enough, they can discern when they're coming, that missile's coming. And if that's the case, they know that they hit the people there will go underground, and they're protected. But when you're in the high rise down there, nope, they're gone. All your big presidents that run these giant companies and all these oil companies, gone. One day, prosperity, gone. Look what they did when they brought the tower. Why'd they go there and drop the towers? Why did they drop that? Well, the reason was they wanted to destroy our money system. Then that's how did it. But we come out of it that trip, okay? Now, what are you going to do if the whole Manhattan Island and all of the New York City levels out, gone? You destroy the economy. If you destroy the economy, people don't know what to do. We'll run straight into poverty. We'll go back worse than any depression you ever saw in your life. And all it takes to destroy the one city. All right. Now, this city will be destroyed in 1 hour by a nuclear bomb. There will be nothing left. The wealth of the United States will be gone. God will allow it to happen because they will be the ones who will persecute. Now, this is very important. Coming up. Future tense events. They're already starting their crazy stuff now. But this is a prelude to what they're going to be doing. Will persecute and kill the saints of God in our near future. They will do that. They will kill God's anointed. And not only that, folks, you that are Christian people, get ready. It's going to be a hayride because they are going to turn things around in our country very shortly. And when they do, now listen, we might have a stay now, but what I'm telling you, basically in your lifetime, you're going to see where they'll flip and they'll hate Christians like they've been hating Christians through 2 consecutive presidencies that are Democratic. They wanted to destroy you as a Christian. Well, what they did is kids play from what will be transpiring in the near future, okay? So that's it for today. God bless. I'll see you the next trip.